so that in case you have any issues or concerns, you know that we're recording. You can turn off your camera if that makes you uncomfortable. So MEDacademy, I wanted to start and just share what it is. So we actually have 2 levels of MEDacademy. Can everyone hear me? Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So we have MEDacademy and we have MEDacademy Masters. And MEDacademy is a 4-week program that that we offer for students, and it's based on the organization of our medical school. So it's based on how the curriculum was developed here at Cooper Medical School of Rowan University. So we, there, there's a dog walking up on my porch. My neighbor's dog is here, so sorry about that. So we focus on 1 specialty per week. So the 4 specialties that we focus on are pathology, gastroenterology, cardiopulmonology, and neurology. So each week that will be the main focus of our week. You will have lectures in the morning on those topics, and then that will be followed up with active learning groups and different sessions intended to highlight those topics. We may cover other things, but as a general rule, that's the hierarchy of the structure of the program. So this year our program runs Tuesday, July 6th through Friday, July 30th. And officially, we're going to be online again through Zoom. And our day will go from 9 a.m. to noon. But this year I am going to ask for you to, I'm sorry if you can hear my dog, like this is comical what's happening outside my house, but I'm going to ask for you to do some work outside of the hours that we meet. I don't think it's fair to ask you to be online for more than 3 hours, but we will ask you to do work. There is expectations for you to work outside of the 9 to noon hours. As I said, the lectures are taught by the medical students and by Cooper faculty, and those happen typically 3 times a week. And then we have active learning groups, and they're smaller groups where you review actual cases and you work together to determine a diagnosis. So for each week, the case that you'll receive will be directly related to that week. So in the patho week, you'll have a pathology case. In the cardio week, you'll have a cardiology case, and you will apply the knowledge that you learn in the lecture, and you might be asked to do some research outside of the program to sort of figure out what's going on with the patient, what you should do, what your next steps are. Are there any red herrings for that patient that that you can catch that, you know, might lead you down a rabbit hole that you shouldn't go down? And you work together with your peers. So it's not just learning about what you learned in lecture and applying it, but it's actually working with your peers. You might feel very strongly that you know exactly what's wrong with this patient, but someone else might have a perspective that you didn't consider. And that's really important in medicine, is that you consider the diversity of your peers and your colleagues, and everyone has a point of view. And so it's good to learn how to work together, especially now, early before you get to medical school. And then we also ask you to do a research project in phase 1. And that's really the bulk of what I might ask you to do outside of the classroom. So you're going to be working as a team with your peers. You're going to identify a public health topic. I'll give you a list of options, but if there's something that you want to focus on that you're particularly passionate about, I mean, based on the past year, I can think of a couple avenues that you might want to go down for public health. And you can conduct research, develop an abstract, put together a poster, and then you present that poster to us on the last day. So so that will give you something tangible to take from the program that you can put on your resume, and when you're applying to colleges, you have this research project that you did here. And we get great feedback from that. We had somebody who did this program a couple years ago, and there were actually physicians in the audience, and they asked if they could put that poster up in their office. They did a presentation on breast cancer, and I believe it's still hanging up in a physician's office. So So it's not just useful to you, it could be actually an educational material for someone else. We do offer academic credit for this program, and we offer 3 credits that can be applied at Rowan University. If you end up matriculating at Rowan University, you can apply those 3 credits to the biology major. Or if you end up coming to Rowan University and then picking a different major, those credits would be applied as electives. So they wouldn't go towards your major unless you're a biology major. And then if you go to another college, which of course is always an option, then that college would make the assessment on whether those credits would be allowed in as academic credit within their institution. So that's a case-by-case basis. But we do give you a transcript from Rowan University showing your name and that you completed those 3 credits. So it's likely that they would be accepted at another university, but we just can't guarantee it. So for grading this year, instead of one comprehensive final exam, we're going to do weekly assessments. And I think that will lighten the load and be a little bit less pressure at the end of the 4 weeks. So you'll have an understanding of what your grades are as we progress through the program. And you'll get that information. And then your grading will also include your research project and your poster. So that will include an assessment from your team. So we're gonna working together on your poster is going to be a graded process, and so we'll assess your work on the poster, and then we'll ask your peers how you did as a team member, just because we felt last year there were some people who maybe didn't put in as much work as other people, and that's something that we definitely want everyone to pull their own weight and sort of add value to the poster. As I said, our online sessions will be 9 a.m. to noon, and there is the expectations that you'll work or study outside of those hours. And I wanted to touch on this just because there's just so you understand that MEDacademy Masters is 2 weeks, and it's only for people who already completed MEDacademy in a different summer. You can't do both programs in the same summer. MEDacademy Masters focuses on human anatomy, and this summer it will be taught again virtually and through ProSection. So we will have a live anatomist dissecting in our gross anatomy lab a human cadaver, and that will be in real time. So you'll be engaging and working with Dr. White, those who do the program, in real time as she dissects, and you can stop and ask questions and zoom in. And so that's really for people who do have an interest in anatomy and dissection. Our cost for the program is $480 per credit. I wanted to address that we have very little scholarship funds available, but we do have scholarship funds available. And if you've started the application, you may have already noticed that we do have a question, so that if you do want to be considered for scholarship funding, we ask you to complete that essay question in the application. And we have an objective scholarship committee who will review all of those applications that we receive by March 15th. And they will make their decision based on your answer to the essay question, the amount of financial need in your household, your GPA, and a holistic consideration of your whole application. So that is what I had to share for you from my perspective. I'm guessing Michelle left, but Haley, you're still here, right?
I'm still here. I was literally about to text you that I was just about to leave. I can answer like maybe one question.
Okay. Oh, so I'm just because these students are a real resource for you. They did it last year. So if you have something you want to ask them from their perspective, please share. Thank you for the note, Michelle. Um, go for it. We're really informal here.
What part of the entire thing did you think was your favorite?
Yay. I think neuroscience is my favorite, which was actually quite surprising for me.
Neuroscience. Cool.
Neurology, my bad. I'm sorry, that's been in my head. Anyways, and also I think it was because Anki taught it too, and I'm like very close with him. I was like one of the student teachers, I guess, from last year. So, yeah, neurology was my favorite. Um, wasn't expecting to like it as much. I thought I was going to like cardio, but then we got to it and I was like, wow, like this is really cool learning about like, nerves and like different things like axons and like your brain and like your spinal cord and stuff. So yeah, I think that was my favorite.
Thank you. Haley, did you want to chime in?
Like the part where we could meet with the physicians and there was like the whole board of them, and that one day we just talked to all of them.
Awesome. All the healthcare professionals across the board. Got it. So that's something that we try to expose you to as many different healthcare fields that you may not have thought of, or maybe you have thought of and you're curious about it. Well, I'm not going to go too much. Hey, do you have any more questions for Haley before she has to go? Really? Okay, then I will go into thank you, Haley, for your time. I really appreciate it. And I'll be in touch whenever you have to go. Um, so we do try, so it's harder because we have less time in the day, but we were able to get a bunch of different healthcare professionals in a panel discussion. So you could talk about exactly what their pathway was for their career. And something that I definitely try to highlight in this program is that things are not, right now things might seem perfectly linear and smooth, but inevitably life throws curveballs. So if you have an end goal in mind, you might not get there the way you're planning right now, but if you want to get there, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to, if something happens, you can sort of back up, readjust, and just keep moving forward. And that's something that hopefully you take away from talking with people who are in medical school or who are physicians or who are nurses, who are occupational therapists, is that there's always a path for you to get to where you want to be, and you just kind of need to be ready to keep working. And if something happens that sort of seems like a devastating thing, maybe maybe you got a C on an exam, but you can still always come back from it, and it's not the end. So don't give up, because there's always resources for you. And so that's sort of something that we try to highlight for you. Sometimes it might be hard to like envision that now, but it's just something to know that that it happens to, I don't want to say everyone, but a lot of people. Like, it's not always a smooth path to medical school, and it's just good to know, and to keep that in your back pocket. I do you guys have questions? I do have a schedule. I know I'm not impressing you with my sharing of my screen with you. I have pulled up schedules that I thought I could show you from last year, so that if you wanted to kind of get an idea of what we did last year. Can you see that? Excel document. Yes. Yes, Michael. I can only see 4 of you. So this is week 3. So you can see that on Monday, July 20th, we had a lecture, and that was followed by a poster session with Alicia Crawford. She works in our library services department, and she's like a graphic design whiz. So she'll help with sort of getting your poster in an organized fashion, and helping you design it, and getting you up to speed. And so some of that time might be taken out of the schedule for other medical opportunities, but this is what we did last year. So then on Tuesday we had a cardiac physiology lecture, and then that was followed by an active learning group. So that was where you actually meet with your small group and your medical student, sometimes a faculty member at CMSRU, and you talk about the specific case that I mentioned. Then on Wednesday we had a talk with Dr. Nicole Fox. She's a trauma surgeon at Cooper, and she's sort of like amazing. Everyone loves her. So she's very candid about her pathway to medical school and how she got to where she is in her career. And she's a really dynamic speaker. We did a Stop the Bleed where you learn how to stop emergency bleeding. And so that is good for you to know in case there's any emergency situations that you have. Then we followed that up with how to do a history and physical. That was taught by our medical students. So then on Thursday we had a lecture, Cardiac Physiology Part B, a second ALG. We had more poster time, and that was our Friday. We had a health professional panel from 10 to noon. We also have stop sharing. We also have, I'm gonna just share with you, we have diversity in medicine as a topic that we had. We have nutrition workshops in our GI week. We have GI emergencies. We do a simulated autopsy with Dr. Coker. We had an ethics discussion with Dr. McGeehan. So that's super thought-provoking and usually pretty interesting. So those are some of the topics that we'll be covering this summer as well, just to kind of give you a heads up. So do you have questions for me based on any of that information?
I do.
Sorry?
I have a question.
Yes.
You said the $480 per credit. Does that mean it's 3 credits? The $400 times 3?
Yeah, so it's $1,440 is the total cost. Sorry that I was not clear on that. So and then for MEDacademy Masters, it's $960 because it's 2 credits for that program.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Wait, question.
Yes.
So wait, you said 1,440, but
Yes.
it's 3 credits, so wouldn't it be 1,200?
It's $480 a credit.
Oh, $480 a credit. My bad.
No, I'm sorry if I could have said the wrong thing. Knows what I'm saying. I've got dogs running around. But no. So yeah.
I have a question. So, with this year and I guess last year as well being online, will we still get the opportunity to speak to the professionals in the field and get to make connections with them?
Yes, you will. So that was the healthcare professional panel, Dr. Fox, and different. So we are reaching out, and hopefully we'll have. But we did have a really broad variety of different healthcare professionals. So and they're really open to not just your questions, but also giving out their contact info if you want to reach out to them after MEDacademy. If you have an interest in shadowing, that's something you can follow up with them individually, and they can certainly provide more information. But I've never had anyone say no to. Usually, you guys reach out to me, and then I reach out to them, and they say yes. You can share my contact info.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions? I feel like I think I'm pretty up to date on getting everyone the status of their application. So it may have, if someone had emailed me within the past half an hour, then I might not have, but I don't see that. So I think that you should know where you are with your applications, and I appreciate everyone who's reached out to me, and so I've been making updates today. So so that's exciting for me. relatively speaking. It's exciting. So, did you have other questions? No? I don't want to keep you. I really do appreciate your time, and I don't want to keep you if you don't have specific questions, or if you kind of want to just ask questions one-on-one, I can hang out too, and I can turn off the recording as well. So if you want to go, you're free to go. I'm just gonna thank
I
you
have
for
a
your time.
question about the admissions. So,
I'm going to start recording again because that was a good question. So the question was for the recording, will the review process start on March 15th, and will there be rolling admissions after that? So close. That's close to the question. So we start reviewing complete applications on March 15th, and anyone who's complete should hear by the end of March, should get a response on their application. And those people whose applications are complete will get first priority for scholarship funds. So I know that that's can be a factor in making your decision of whether you want to do the program or not. So we want to get you that information as quickly as possible. So I will work to get you the scholarship response as quickly as possible after we make that first round of decisions. But as soon as your application is complete, we will start reviewing it and get you. I don't want to be tied to this, but I would say on average, it's fair to say within 2 weeks of your application being complete, you would have a response on your application. So so if you get it complete on April 3rd, then you would hear back, by April. What is that? Like April 17th-ish, no later than April 17th-ish. Probably sooner, but as soon as provided we have seats available, we'll consider your application up until really the start of the program. So but we obviously give preference to the people who have their application in earlier.
thank you.
You're welcome.
So we should try and turn in our application by March 15th.
You should try. You should try. I'm not. I mean, right now we have 105 applications, and so our target is somewhere between 30 and 40 students for the program. So not all of those people have submitted their application. So those are the people who have an application in process. So as your application becomes complete, that's when we start. Those are the people who are going to be reviewed first. So it's sort of like your decision to make. It's not a deal breaker. It's not a hard deadline of March 15th. That's just when we start reviewing. So staying in touch with me is helpful, and I will, I'm Otamaris probably would dispute that I'm good on email, but as a general rule, like I'm pretty quick responding on email, unless I miss it completely. But so I definitely encourage you to apply. We will definitely consider your application after March 15th, but there's just to know that that we will limit it at a certain number. We don't want to have too many people in the program and make it unwieldy for you, especially in active learning groups, because that's a balance that you have to strike. You want to have enough people to generate meaningful conversation, but you don't want to have too many people that you solve the case in like a half an hour. So you want to make sure that you you have a good experience for you. Any other questions?